Here we are in November, moving into that holiday season. I'm trying to hold off turning on the heat as long as I can. I have plenty of things to layer up and bundle up with, including my little electric blanket throw. And I'm going to try to hold off turning on the heat as long as I can. We've already lit the pilot, so it's ready to go just in case I decide it is too cold in here. And I do get cold easy. But I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've done this week to save money. And I hope this helps someone today. My mother-in-law called me last week because we were headed up there for a weekend to celebrate their 61st wedding anniversary, as well as my stepdaughter's birthday. And my stepdaughter is vegan, and my husband is gluten-free, so we needed a gluten-free vegan cake. And she only found one place that would sell them for $50, and she wanted to know if I would pick it up. And I said, "Well, I can pick it up, but I could also make a cake." Now, it wouldn't be fancy decorated, but I have a depression era recipe. It calls for no milk, no eggs, no dairy. I can substitute my gluten-free flour, and I can bring a cake. And she said, "I would much rather do that." So I made my stepdaughter's birthday cake, and honestly, she was so happy to have a homemade cake. She said that just made it ever more special. And I took some plant butter and a tablespoon of instant coffee, some powdered sugar, some vanilla. I was out of any type of milk and I just substituted some water since she's vegan and made a wonderful chocolate cake with some coffee homemade icing, and everybody just raved about how delicious this homemade cake was. Sometimes we think buying things will make things more special, but I cannot tell you how many times she hugged me and thanked me for making a homemade cake. I told her the history that went behind the recipe. I told her how in the Depression, eggs and milk were not readily available and they were pretty scarce for people that lived in the city. Now, my parents lived in the country and they lived on a farm, so they had plenty of milk and eggs. But for people that lived in the city, things like milk and eggs were really scarce. And this was a recipe that was developed during that time with white vinegar and baking soda to substitute those two ingredients and make the cake still work. And she thought that was so neat that that history went behind her birthday cake. And she even told about it during our meal. Now, this recipe is in my first Depression era cookbook that I have on Amazon, and I always have my cookbooks linked in the description box below. I'm still sticking with small shopping hauls to get me through while I'm trying to use up some of my back stock to save some money. And here is one of my small shopping hauls that I had this week. Here is my small shopping haul from Dillon's this week. I got a gallon of milk for $2.59. I got two coffee creamers. They were $4.49 for both of them. So that made them about $2.50 each. I checked out the clearance rack and found ketchup, 63 cents. I found two of these hamburger dill chips. They had a whole bunch of ketchup and these pickles. And these were only $1.12. Great deal for pantry stock up. They had mandarin oranges, $1.03. Anytime you can get fruit for that price, that's a great buy. They had Grand's biscuits on sale for $1.99. I had another dollar off on Ibotta and bonus points on Fetch. I had 5 pounds of
apples that were marked $5, but they rang up $2 at the checkout. I don't know why, but that was a stupendous deal. 3 giant peppers for $2.99, and the special for the weekend was eggs, $1.49 a dozen, so I got 4. Total price for this small shopping haul for the week, $26.17.
For meals over the last few days, I've been eating this tomato soup that I got out of my camper, if you remember from that video, and it needed used up. I have found this before at Dollar Tree for $1.25. If you buy this even at Aldi's, it's over $4. This one came from Ollie's Discount Center for $1.79. It says it makes 4 servings, but I always can get like 5 out of there. Just add a little bit of milk and shake this up, or a little bit of water and shake it up, and you will get your 5th serving. But the trick that I use on this is I add just a little bit of basil seasoning on top of my tomato soup, and it just makes it restaurant quality. I have to remind myself from time to time that using what I have to save money shouldn't just be limited to my pantry. I have a 3-pot crock pot, and I only use it at holidays. And I have to thank Karen from Prime of Midlife, because she pulls hers out every winter faithfully and bulk cooks for the week in it. And I saw her with that again this year, and I thought, why am I not using that except at holidays? I can pull it out, I can cook 3 things at the same time, save electricity, save myself some work, and prep some foods. So that's what I'm going to do this winter. They say that a crock pot can use less than $1 to cook your meal. A lot of times it's between the 15 to 40 cent mark to cook a meal based on your electric rates. Slow cookers usually use between 100 and 320 watts, and a 6-quart crock pot uses about 260 watts, while this 3-quart crock pot only uses 420, and I can cook 3 things at the same time. All 3 of the crock pots in this are 2.5 quart, which that's the size that I keep in the camper. And it's perfect for me to make something by myself and have it for several days of leftovers. So it'll be perfect for me to make several different things and have some leftovers for 2 people as well. If you're interested in a 3-quart crock pot, I will link it in the description box below. I just think it's a really great item, and I'm really mad at myself for not remembering to use it or even thinking about using it other than holiday celebrations.
In the first crock pot, I'm going to make some split pea soup, which is one of my favorites. I have 1.5 cups of split dried peas. To that, I'm going to add 1 potato, 1 large carrot, half of a large onion. I have some frozen celery from my garden, a ham bone that I have frozen there in the bag from Christmas, and I'm going to add in 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper and about 1/2 of a teaspoon of garlic salt. This is going to be a tight squeeze, but to that I'm going to add 4 cups of water. And this is going to fill it up clear to the top. We're going to put the lid on this, cook it on high for about 3 hours. In the second crock pot, I have about 3/4 of a pound of frozen beef tips. I have 5 tablespoons of my homemade onion soup mix and 2 cups of water, and I'm going to prep this and cook it on high until it's tender. And in the last crock pot, I'm going to put in a large chicken breast that's still on the bone with a cup of water. I'm going to cook this until it's tender and debone it. I'm thinking about maybe making some chicken and noodles or chicken and dumplings later. And that will be prepped.
I can already see that using this 3-dish crock pot is going to make my life a lot easier. You can probably see that just in the little clip that I just did. I've got beef tips going so I can cool those, freeze those, and have them ready to throw together in a dish super fast and they'll already be tender. I can have my meat deboned on the chicken and have it ready to go to throw it together for a quick meal. And I will have split pea soup that I can eat over these next quite a few days on my own because my husband doesn't like split pea soup. But by doing this, I have some other options. So it will allow me to get some other things done by using this and cooking multiple things at once and planning ahead to get some meals on the menu. Let me know what you're doing this week to save yourself some time and maybe even be frugal in the process. Do you have anything sitting around your house that you're not using that could be helping you get things done and be frugal in the process, like my 3-dish crock pot? I just can't even believe that I've waited this long to take advantage of using this. And I swear during this video, you can literally watch my hair fluff. That's what you get when you have curly hair, guys. It's been rainy for days. I am trying to keep it manageable for the video, but it is difficult. I love being frugal. I also love using what I have. And after a day like today when I realize I have something I could have been using, it makes me feel accomplished. It makes me feel like I have more options and more things that I can do with some of the items that I have if I just look a little closer. And that's what I intend to do this fall and winter is take a hard look at what I have and take full advantage of that to make my life easier, my retirement easier, and my days more open to do some other things. Thanks for listening today. I always appreciate the time that you spend with me, and I hope you will give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.